Though Eze Mmiri had returned to his underwater kingdom, his heart was forever tied to the land, especially to his dear friend Adaobi. The glowing shell he had given her held more power than she realized. It was not just a symbol of their bond, it was a piece of his essence, allowing him to watch over her from afar. Back in Ama Ọfịa, the villagers marveled at the bravery of Adaobi. They could hardly believe that a young girl had formed a friendship with a powerful prince of the waters. Though most accepted the peace between the land and the river, there were a few who were still afraid. One of these was Nnanna, the villagers' greatest warrior, who believed the river spirit were still a threat to the village. "Can you see? We should not befriend such creatures," Nnanna said one evening in the village square. "What if Mamianya returns, or worse, spirits rise from the waters? We must be prepared to defend ourselves." Adaobi overheard these conversations and feared for her friend's safety. But she trusted Eze Mmiri, knowing that he would never let harm come to her or the village. She also knew that Mamianya's banishment had been witnessed by all. Still, tension simmered in Ama Ọfịa, and Adaobi could sense that something was brewing. In the kingdom of Oran Mir, Eze Mmiri sat in the grand choral hall of his father's palace. The walls were adorned with seashells that glittered in the sunlight, filtering down through the ocean. His father, King Eze sat upon his throne, wise and stern. "My son, I sense your heart is still with the land," the king said, his deep voice echoing through the water. Eze Mmiri lowered his head. "Father, I cannot forget Adaobi or the world above. There is something about the land. It calls to me." King Eze sighed. "You have defied my warnings, and yet you have saved your people from Mamianya's wrath. For that, I am proud. But you must understand, Eze Mmiri, the land and the sea are not meant to mix. You are the future king of this realm. Your duty is to the water." Before Eze Mmiri could respond, Nwogidi, the ancient sea turtle, approached them. "My king, there is something stirring in the deep currents. A powerful force has awakened, one older and more dangerous than Mamianya." "What do you mean, Nwogidi?" asked Eze, his brows furrowing. "An ancient river spirit, Oran Mir, has sensed the disturbance caused by Mamianya's defeat. She is angrier than Mamianya ever was, and she seeks revenge against those who are there to meddle with the balance between land and sea," Nwogidi explained. Eze Mmiri's heart raced. "Adaobi, she will be in danger." The king nodded grimly. "If Oran Mir has risen, no one on land or sea will be saved." Days passed, and Adaobi noticed strange things happening in the village. The rivers that was once calm and peaceful now chunked with dark, violent currents. The fish no longer swam near the shore, and the birds seemed to avoid the trees close to the water. The village elders began to worry, sensing that something was wrong. One evening, as the sun dipped behind the trees, a cold wind swept through Ama Ọfịa. The sky darkened unnaturally, and the river began to roar as if a storm were brewing. Adaobi felt a familiar fear rising in her chest. She clutched the glowing shell Eze Mmiri had given her and whispered his name. Suddenly, the river swelled, and from its depths, a fearsome figure emerged. It was Oran Mir, the ancient spirit, towering above the water like a dark shadow. Her eyes glowed with fury, and her voice echoed like thunder. You dared disturb the balance between land and water, Oran Mir bellowed. Mami Anya was a fool, but I am not. I will reclaim the river, and all who live near it will feel my wrath. The villagers, terrified, ran to their homes, but Adaobi stood her ground. She knew that Oran Mir was far more powerful than Mami Anya, but she also knew that Eze Mmiri had the strength to protect them. Clutching the shell tightly, she shouted into the wind, "Eze Mmiri, I need you!" In the depths of Odummiri, Eze Mmiri heard Adaobi's cry. He turned to his father, determination in his eyes. "I must go. Oran Mir will destroy everything if we do not stop her." King Ezenkwo placed a hand on his son's shoulder. "Go, my son. Protect the balance, but remember, once you confront Oran Mir, you may never return to the sea in the same way." Without hesitation, Eze Mmiri raced to the surface, cutting through the water like lightning. As he reached the shore, he saw Oran Mir looming over the village. Her long, twisted form stretched from the river to the sky, her dark energy cracking through the air. "Adaobi," Eze Mmiri called as he emerged from the water. She turned and ran towards him, relief flooding her face. "You came," she cried. "I promised I would," Eze Mmiri said, his voice calm but strong. "Stay behind me." Oran Mir laughed, a cold menacing sound. "You think you can stop me, little prince? You have no idea what power I hold." Eze Mmiri stood tall, his shimmery tails flickering in the air. "I am Eze Mmiri, Prince of the Waters, and I will not allow you to harm these people." With a mighty roar, Oran Mir sent a wave crashing towards the village, but Eze Mmiri raised his arms, calling upon the powers of the sea. The wave split into two, rushing past the village without harm. "Is that all you have?" Eze Mmiri taunted, though his heart raced. He knew he couldn't defeat Oran Mir alone. At that moment, Nwogidi and the dolphins appeared, circling the river spirit. "We are with you, Eze Mmiri," they called. Eze Mmiri turned to Adaobi. "Remember the shell I gave you? It holds a piece of my power. I need you to hold it up and call out for the help of the river spirit who protects the land." Adaobi nodded and held the shell high above her head. "Spirit of the rivers, come to our aid. Protect your home." The shell glowed brighter and brighter, and suddenly, from the depth of the river, spirits of the water began to emerge. Gentle beings of light and energy. They surrounded Oran Mir, weakening her dark power with their combined force. "No!" Oran Mir screamed. "This cannot be." With one final surge of strength, Eze Mmiri and the water spirit pushed Oran Mir back into the river depths, sealing her within the ancient stones at the bottom of the river, never to rise again. The storm passed and the river returned to its peaceful flow. The villagers emerged from their homes, awe-struck by what they had witnessed. They gathered around Adaobi and Eze Mmiri, who stood side by side at the water's edge. "Eze Mmiri," Adaobi said softly, "you saved us all." "You saved me too," Eze Mmiri replied with a smile. "Without you, I would have lost my way." The village elders approached them, bowing respectfully. "We were wrong to fear you, Prince of the Waters," one of them said. "You are a true protector of this land and sea." Eze Mmiri nodded. "The land and the sea must live in harmony. We are not so different after all." As the sun set over Ama Ọfịa, Eze Mmiri knew that his journey was not yet over. He had protected the village and defeated Oran Mir, but the balance between land and sea was delicate. He would need to continue watching over both worlds. "I will visit again," he told Adaobi as he prepared to return to the water. "And whenever you need me, you know how to find me." Adaobi smiled and held the glowing shell close to her heart. "I will be waiting, my friend." With a final wave, Eze Mmiri dove back into the river, disappearing beneath the waves. But Adaobi knew that he was never truly gone. Their bond was strong, and the river, like their friendship, would always flow with life and hope. Thanks for tuning in. Be sure to stay connected by leaving your thoughts in the comments, giving the video a thumbs up and subscribing to the channel. Hit the notification bell so you're the first to know when a new content drops. We appreciate your support and look forward to seeing you in the next video.